Today I'm reviewing 4 cars from my model collection that may look different, but they have one thing in common. These cars are from the James Bond film franchise. As a huge Bond fan, I knew I had to get my hands on these as soon as I saw them. And so far I've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course there are more which I'm yet to get. So I thought I'd do a short video on the 4 cars of the Bond film franchise that I own. So let's start in chronological order with the Aston Martin DB5 from 1964's Goldfinger. Now this car is epic because this is the car, I think it's the first proper Bond car. I mean, we can see this model which is by, who's it by? Yep, this is Mattel. It's a Hot Wheels one. We've got a lot of undercarriage detail there which I want to point out while I'm showing the undercarriage. It's got rubber wheels, and yeah, I'm just going to move the other cars out short because my camera is having trouble focusing on them. Yeah, that's much better. You can see it's got the proper wheels modeled there with rubber tires, chrome bumpers, that iconic BMT 216A license plate, and of course, yeah, the classic DB5 style. I don't see any indications of the modifications, but then again, you're not going to really see them from outside, are you, until they pop out or pop up kind of thing. But yeah, so this is otherwise a very nice DB5 model that's just been made out like the Bond one. It says DB5 on the back there as well. Single, or rather twin exit exhaust on one side. And yeah, it's a very nice runner too. It's not one of those models of a DB5 which have some of the gadgets popping out of it and stuff. Those are, I think, in bigger scales. In this scale, which is roughly 1 to 64, you're not going to get features of that ilk. So that's the DB5 from Goldfinger, which I believe also came in, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this DB5 has come in quite a few later Bond films as well. So how many of them can you spot this DB5 in? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, let's look at the next car from our order, and that is this one, the Toyota 2000 GT. This comes in You Only Live Twice, and very interestingly, Toyota never made an official, well, they never planned to make a convertible variant of the 2000 GT. It was a fixed head coupe, which I also have a model of in my collection, but Sean Connery, who was James Bond at the time, couldn't fit in one of these with the fixed head coupe roof. So what they did is Toyota themselves chopped the roof off actually 2 cars, a hero car and a spare car, specifically for the film. Now isn't that pretty cool? I mean, but then they must have been pretty chuffed about having their signature sports car, which some people call the first real supercar from Japan. Of course, it's a 1960s car in a James Bond film. So this model is also from Hot Wheels, and it's a 2014 casting, whereas for example my DB5 is a 2013 casting. So yeah, very nicely decked out convertible there. Right hand drive, of course, because this car stars in the scenes in Japan. And of course you've got the massive fog lamps, pop-up headlamps simulated, but then they don't actually pop up. And once again, yes, rubber tires, proper wheels, some undercarriage detail. But otherwise, yeah, Toyota 2000 GT Roadster. Note that it just says Roadster. It doesn't say anything about this being from the James Bond film franchise. Of course, I believe the card did say, and I have all my model car cards carefully stored in storage. But yeah, the car itself doesn't really give an indication that it's a Bond car. It's more for those who know kind of thing. So let's move on to the next Bond car without further ado. But first, how does this one roll? Once again, very nice because those rubber tires really give it some very smooth motion. There's no suspension, but then again, the rubber tires are enough for like a very noiseless ride. So let's look at this one, which is the Ford Mustang Mark I from Diamonds Are Forever. Now this car is most famous for quite a hilarious oversight in the movie, and I'm going to tell you about it now, and you'll probably notice it if you watch the movie. There's an iconic scene where the car driven by Sean Connery's James Bond goes into an alleyway, and because the alley is too narrow for the car to pass properly, the car flips up on one side like this, going on the wheels like that. But the fact is, you'll see the car entering the alleyway on one side. When it exits the alleyway, the car has magically flipped around and is rolling on the other side. So it's going in like this, it's coming out like this. So yeah, and the reason for that is that they actually did the entry and exit in 2 takes, and the director himself said that when they did it, nobody really paid attention to make sure that the direction of the cars, or rather the wheels on which the car was resting on, were the same wheels for both takes. So you end up with that rather hilarious, blooper kind of thing in the film. But jokes aside, this is a fantastic model, although the paint job could be better, I've got to say. And also you've got a fully red interior there, which I don't think is prototypical of the actual Ford Mustang Mark 1. But what you do have are the white striped tires with the chrome wheels, and if you look at the undercarriage, you've got the dual exhaust simulated there. What does this say? It's a 2010 casting. Okay, interesting. Once again, Hot Wheels, made in Malaysia. 1971 Ford Mustang Mark 1. Once again, nothing to say that this is a James Bond franchise car, unless you had the card, of course. I think the card says it, but yeah, the paint's a little dull because these cars sit actually in a cabinet in my house. But otherwise, yeah, it looks to have aged quite well, and it's got a fair bit of heft to it. In fact, if I were to just do a quick in the hand test, I would say that this is the lightest, this is a little heavier, and this is noticeably heavier. So now let's move on to the final car of my trip down Bond memory lane, and that's none other than this, what was called Wet Nelly in the film. It's a Lotus Esprit which turns into a submarine in the film, and I think that's where the Bond franchise reached new levels of ludicrousness. I mean, under Roger Moore's time, where he goes into space as well. But yeah, this was the submarine car. You've got the iconic license plate there, PPW306R. At the bottom, we see once again Lotus Esprit S1 2014 casting. Nothing to say it's a James Bond car, but of course you've got some undercarriage detail there. And what's that there? Is that supposed to be like simulating seaweed stuck in the axles or something? I don't know. It doesn't look like something that the normal car would have, but interesting. Okay, we've got the wheels and all modeled there. We've got somewhat of a black interior, but once again quite featureless. But the badging and everything looks to be quite nice. Just waiting for my camera to focus there. There we go. And you've got separate hood vents there. The pop-up headlamps are not actual pop-up units on this model. They're just cast into the metal, but that's okay. So yeah, overall, once again, a fairly solid model, but yes, we have rubber tires there. And I've also got to say, I mean, let me see here, which one is lighter. Yeah, the 2000 GT is the lightest. So yeah, this is the lightest. This is the second lightest. Then we've got the DB5, and the heaviest of them all, the Mark 1. And I'm just going to park them end on end like that under the camera so that you can see the relative sizes of the cars. I've roughly matched, actually I'll match the rears roughly so you can just see by how much their sizes vary. The Esprit is the smallest one. Surprising, I would have thought the 2000 GT was pretty compact, but it's a bit longer, but it's narrower than the Esprit. And of course you've got the DB5, which is a classic. You may think it's parked slightly forward, but that's because I've aligned bumpers, and the DB5 has longer bumpers. And of course the Mark 1, typical of an American car, it's long, it's wide, it's larger than life in every way. So there you are, my collection of 4 cars from the James Bond film era. We've got the Toyota 2000 GT from You Only Live Twice. We've got the Lotus Esprit S1 from The Spy Who Loved Me. We've got the iconic Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger. And last but not least, the Ford Mustang Mark 1 from Diamonds Are Forever. Stay tuned, because I'll definitely be buying more Bond cars when time and finances permit. So until then, there you are, and I hope I've inspired you to maybe start collecting maybe some Bond cars or cars from other film franchises or TV series. I did do a video about my 2 Knight Rider models as well in the past. You can find it on my channel. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a nice day. Take care.